And if you're here, it's Monday Majuu, and it's Radio Majuu. I'm your host, George Chobi, and with my guests, Robert Shuri, Natasha Ruth, and June Zilani. Inspired its mission.
All right. So thank you, George. We are glad to be here in your studio. My name is Robert Shuri. I'm the president and CEO of One Voice Consortium, and I'm also joined here by two of my co-leaders, Attorney June Zilani and also Natasha Miriti, who are here with me. Thank you for that question about how come OVC was formed. It was formed in 2017 as an organization that brings together an umbrella organization that is there for the diaspora, bringing together other organizations so that we can be able to speak in one voice. And also to articulate issues that are cross-cutting around the diaspora, ensuring that our vision is to unite, inform, enhance, and improve the welfare of our people, the lifestyle of our people, and even the livelihoods of the diaspora community.
Perfect. Welcome one more time to Radio Majuu, the voice of diaspora. I have with me Dr. Robert Shuri, Natasha Ruth, and June Ziani from the One Voice Consortium, and we're here to talk about the upcoming conference and what they do on a daily basis towards their objectives and their mission. So thank you for that, Dr. Shuri. How does OVC's mission align with the needs and aspirations of the communities that you serve?
I do want to say it's Nzilani.
Nzilani.
Yeah.
Okay. I must have missed the L. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not really a big deal. But I would also second what Dr. Shuri has said and say that the main mission for OVC is rooted in advocacy and unity and sustainable development. We literally are prioritizing listening to the lived experiences of Africans and also the people in the diaspora communities. And then we translate those voices into actionable programs. Like, for instance, just OVC itself is an actionable program where it's economic empowerment and it's education or the health equality. Our initiatives are all built in direct response to what the communities say and what they need, not what we assume they need. And that's exactly how we align with the mission.
Oh, makes much sense. So about the upcoming conference in New York, what is the primary theme and focus of the upcoming conference, and what motivated that choice?
We have several themes actually running. We have 5 themes that we're planning on working on. The most glaring one, I mean, they're all important, right? All of them are important themes that we're addressing. So we have education and technology, we have the economy itself, we have the young people and their engagement with, politics and the climate of politics in Kenya. We also have women in leadership, and we have and another one that's big, it's immigration the laws, immigration, and the legal outlook that we try to address, especially, people in the US and how to follow the laws here, or people who are planning to do business back in Kenya, or immigration issues that are plaguing most people nowadays. Those are the things that we try to address and try to just shed the light as much as we can. We have so many knowledgeable people in this group. The expo is not just to network. We have so many knowledgeable people, so much resource, people that are willing to help.
Wow. And what are some of what are the key objectives of this year's conference, and how do you measure success?
Yeah. So among the key objectives of our conference is, of course, diaspora engagement. We want to engage the African diaspora community in discussions and initiatives geared towards leveraging their skills and knowledge, and also the networks for development in the business and also the trade ecosystems. We also want to ensure that one of our objectives, of course, is to transfer knowledge, facilitate exchange of ideas, experiences, and best practices between diaspora professionals and local entrepreneurs, so that we can be able to foster innovation and entrepreneurship. Also, the third objective is also to areas of investment and funding. As you perhaps already know, George, people in diaspora want to invest back home. So we are trying to showcase various investment opportunities and also startups that are in the various areas, especially tech areas, that can be able to invest back in Africa. Or even attract diaspora investment, because as you know, diaspora is among the leading components in terms of remittances back home. So we want to ensure that we are also able now to focus on how we can be able to invest back in our countries of origin, whether it is in Kenya, whether it is somewhere in East Africa or West Africa, but at least in Africa. The fourth objective is, of course, capacity building. We want to ensure that we can be able to provide training and mentorship, networking opportunities that could be there for people who are starting up businesses, or even people who want to improve their skills. And then finally, one of our objectives is in the area of policy advocacy. So we want to ensure that people are aware about policies that are there to that can impact individuals or even the community, so that we can be able to quickly support the diaspora environment and also development back in our country. So we have at least those as the 5 objectives, and we'll measure them in many ways, including, of course, the impact back home on things that we will be doing in many ways, whether it is in business, whether it is in the social arena, or even whether it is in even in the political arena. As you perhaps already know, we have a lot of people in the diaspora that we want to interest to kind of encourage to go into the political world, so that they can be able to be more of our political advocates.
Sounds good. Who are some of the notable speakers, panelists, and partners that you're expecting in this year's conference?
Very many speakers that are going to come, not just within OVC, but even outside of OVC. We have attracted people in the financial sector, leading people who are representing various leading institutions, including the World Bank. We have very very investment firms that are going to join us. We have even organizations that are in the non-profit world that is doing a lot of great work in Africa. They're also going to participate in this. So we have quite notable people, George.
Majuu is all about the diaspora, the voice of the diaspora, which goes beyond diaspora. So all the way from the motherland to the Western world and back to the motherland, the community. So what is the community impact, and how do you engage the diaspora, or how does OVC engage with the African diaspora, and how is it important? Is that an important connection to driving your mission forward?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. Thank you, sir. And thank you for having me here and the panel here for OVC for your Radio Majuu. It's very important to also know our mission to promote ethical leadership, cohesion, integration through consultation, social intervention, cultural and civic education for peace and prosperity, both here and in Kenya. Now, usually OVC will work closely with diaspora organizations. We have community-based organizations. We have other stakeholders. We have nonprofits, as was mentioned. We have also, folks that have actually come through other recommendations and referrals. So that is a very, very great wealth of knowledge. As you know, that we're an umbrella for many organizations. So that is actually how we move our mission forward. And it's ever changing and ever growing, as you can see, since 2017.
Are there any specific?
Yeah. And I just also want to add that, as you know, George, the African Union has mandated the people who are living outside of Africa as the 6th region of Africa, the diaspora. Huh?
The diaspora,
so we are the 6th region of the African Union, Africans who are living outside of Africa. And right now, we number close to almost 100 million or so. Huh?
Wow.
Africans outside of Africa. It's a big component. And we are trying very much to tap into this resource so that we can have great impact on Africa. And One Voice Consortium has been working together with other diaspora-based African groups so that we can be able to impact our mother continent. And even in this workshop, this conference, we'll be having other diasporas apart from those from East Africa.
That's very important to note. We're encouraging everybody to come out. Please register, join us. There's enough time. There's even an early bird special right now. So please, the diaspora is very welcome to that. And you can see it on our website, the onevoiceconsortium.org.
All right. So the message right now that we're trying to impart to the people, diaspora or otherwise, is to sign up, register, and also participate in the conference and also in the activities of the organization. So since we are here, what are the challenges and what are the biggest challenges that affect OVC as it works to uplift the marginalized community, and how do you navigate them?
I would say that's a brilliant question, because just straight off the gate, there's a huge issue of trust and bridging trust between the institutions themselves that govern the people and then the communities that we serve, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a secret that there's so much skepticism when it comes to the government or its operations, or how just skepticism of how the underserved are being addressed. And so that trust is such a huge challenge. We try to navigate by just staying present. We stay present, we're listening, we're collaborating, we're transparent with our work, what we're trying to do, we're transparent with the communities we're trying to impact. We want to make sure that we're not being the same people that we're criticizing, right? And so transparency, it's a huge thing that we try to enforce within the OVC organization.
Yes.
And do I even need to say another challenge is funding, right?
All the challenge
to address all these issues. We have so many issues that we're trying to address, and we're pursuing such innovative models of building transparency. So we just also need funding. It comes with funding. There's nothing we're going to do that doesn't need financial backing. So when we keep saying sign up, show up, sign up, that's what we mean.
Sign up as in members to sign up, or
members to sign up,
or donors to sign up.
All are welcome, please. We're not a Tulagui.
You're not very particular, but everybody is welcome to join. What are the long-term goals, and how do you envision growing the impact of your work beyond this year's conference?
Yeah, so that's a good question, George. And One Voice Consortium continues to look at our mission to impact our country and continent in a big way. Our long-term vision is to ensure that we have sustainable projects funded and supported by the diaspora, and also run by the diaspora. Our long-term goal is to be involved with projects that are impacting the community at the grassroots level, because as you know, most of the people in the diaspora, one time or another, they were supported by their communities back home to get where to they are. So ours is like giving back to the community, but giving back in a community in a very sustainable way, whether it is building that hospital in Makueni, or building that school in or in somewhere in Nyanza, or building that small factory that would do some value addition somewhere in Kilifi. All these are projects that we are involved in, that are supporting our people back home to raise their incomes and also improve their livelihoods and lifestyle. So our long-term goal is to be involved with those kind of projects where our people, walk smiling, knowing that they're able to support themselves very well, and also that they have people in the diaspora that they can be able to partner with in the future. So that's our goal, to continue working for the betterment of the community.
And if I can also chime in a bit with what Dr. Shuri has said, we also want to stay very proactive in that OVC, like for instance, I met OVC, dare I say, a different generation, right? There's like a generational gap there. And I say it the best way possible, right? And I appreciate Dr. Shuri for staying very proactive in that he's involving youth, right? The leaders of tomorrow. We're supposed to be here to take the baton from the people who started this thing so that we can continue, so that we can pass it along to another generation. Like we saw last year in Kenya, at last, it wasn't the older generation that was outside expressing our emotions. It was the younger generation. And so just from that, staying proactive, knowing what concerns we need to address, and also how to trickle down to the other people to come, so that long term OVC is still going, as opposed to it ending somewhere with the people who started it.
Yes, definitely. That segues perfectly to my next question, in terms of being nimble, in terms of being able to monitor trends and adapt to change. So as diaspora, we obviously have to have our lens on everything that is happening, so that we can pivot when we need to pivot, and we can obviously bring to the table what is important instead of what is popular, because social media is very active. In that vein, how does OVC plan to stay ahead of the changing tax and policy landscapes that may affect diaspora communities and nonprofit organizations?
Well, the one thing that I do want to say I'm appreciative of is that OVC is not waiting for this change to happen, right? We're actively participating in it. We anticipate it, and so we stay ready because we've anticipated it I won't say that, we just want to stay ready. We are not waiting so that we can react. We just, again, like I said, proactive about it. We just try to keep, so for the taxes, I think we're just keeping a keen eye really on the trends, on the policies, on the immigration policies, on the nonprofit regulations, on the funding trends. We position ourselves to protect and uplift our communities that we serve. And so therefore we've become very adaptable. We're aware of what's going on, so we adapt, and then we try to make changes or try to come up with solutions that are more sustainable.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to add on that, and perhaps just to see how OVC operates. Like recently, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs already has put this sessional paper number 1 of 2025 about diaspora, and they recently requested us to support them with the views from the diaspora, and my fellow affiliate member here. Natasha was one of those that was working on giving our views about diaspora that can impact a sessional paper. So maybe, Natasha, you can just quickly mention how we were able to support that and submit to Parliament our views.
Very, very collaborative option. And, One Voice Consortium is very, very good by pulling all the, community and diaspora organizations together. Great minds came together to basically state what our concerns are and how we can partner with the Kenyan government basically to make our lives better here. So we submitted that as part of the public participation. We had Pastor Peter Minor there submitting it. And so we are looking forward to that actually coming through. So we're very, very connected and engaged with what is going on in Kenya, and definitely reflecting what the needs of the diaspora Kenyans here have. So just that collaboration from both sides is really going to bring us further ahead. And, definitely if once this moves forward, we'll be ready to present it to everybody, get everybody's feedback, and move forward to the next steps. Thank you.
You're listening. Welcome to Radio Majuu one more time, the voice of the diaspora, where we go beyond diaspora. And tonight I have the pleasure of having OVC represented in the house, talk about the upcoming conference and to talk about what they do. So how does OVC plan to adapt future giving trends and demographic shifts within the diaspora to ensure continued impact and relevance? Anybody?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a great question again, George. As you perhaps already know, the diaspora is changing in terms of composition. It's even focus. We have more people coming into the diaspora to not just to study and live here, but also to work here, having attained various levels of professional expertise in our countries of origin. So diaspora now is even having people who are already qualified at home, but they're now coming in as expatriates to work in various countries. And so we are seeing a very, very big shift of that, especially in Europe and also in the US here. People who are coming here to work and also to provide for their families and also have really good incomes. So to that, we are continuing to attract these diaspora professionals to be part of us. As I said earlier, One Voice Consortium is in various sectors, whether it is in education, in technology, in banking, in finance, in trade, in business. So we have all these sectors, and so we are inviting these professionals to be part of us so that we can be able to work together. One of our member organizations is called USAT, Kenya USA Technology Forum, which brings together a lot of people in the ICT, that is information communication technology, and they have been able to come up with so many innovations and support our people in some of the new IT forums on artificial intelligence, on machine learning, and all these new innovations that are coming up to support our people. We are moving to another level where we are trying to also shift the significance of our people, not just those who are here, but those who are back home. So we are trying to encourage big companies here that can be able to relocate or offer outsourcing of their business activities to our country, so that they can, our technical people back home can be able to be provided with various jobs. So again, we are doing this in collaboration with a lot of our organizations that have a good impact on the economic level and also on the social level, so that we can be able to work together to generate more business for our people.
Very good, Dr. Shiori. The demographic shift can also be people going from diaspora back to Africa or back to the motherland. So those people obviously have carried a lot of knowledge, a lot of experiences that they can use to go back to develop the motherland. I don't know about the new people that are coming, but I wish them all the best. And maybe we have laid down some strategies that will help them navigate the diaspora. So we have gathered a lot of knowledge. Obviously, OVC has gathered a lot of information in terms of what impacts the diaspora. So, what is how do you incorporate the knowledge of the board members, the trustees, the donors, the volunteers? How does OVC ensure that this knowledge translates into meaningful action? Because I know there's a lot of information that is being imparted, and how do we use this information to have some impact?
Thank you for that question again. As I mentioned earlier, One Voice Consortium has all these sectors that is involved in, and most of the organizations in One Voice Consortium are already involved in some community activity, and so we obviously benefits or with how their member organizations are performing on the ground. Take for instance organizations that have social saving and credit organizations like SACCOs, people who have formed some credit organizations. So what they're doing is to help their members pool resources together so that they can save and invest back home. Some of them have been able to build a lot of good houses, apartments for their members in Nairobi, in Kisumu, in Mombasa, and various areas in Kenya. So you can see just one aspect of an organization that is an OVC member that is already impacting the community in that way. We have others that have bought agricultural land, and so they are doing a lot of farming and growing even food for export. We have several of them that are growing pineapples in Kilifi. Others are growing avocado in Kirinyaga and Nyandarua. Others are growing large-scale pea and vegetable growing in Nyandarua. So all of them are in various parts of the country doing meaningful work. They are all One Voice Consortium members through their organizations so that they can impact people back home. We have even others that continue to do what we call medical missions. What they do is to once or twice a year, they carry out some medical missions somewhere in the country where the community needs those services, and they impact them very, very well. One of our members is called Kenya Airlift Program, and what they have been doing is to bring deserving young men and women here in America for further education in various universities. So a big project that is part of One Voice Consortium. So we have a lot of things, whether it is in the education sector, health, business, trade, agriculture, name it, we are there.
Yeah, so you have actually answered my next question, which is, what kind of development programs that, OVC has initiated to empower emerging leaders in diaspora communities. And I'm also glad you mentioned that Kirinyaga with avocados. That's where I'm from. So if there's anybody doing avocados in Kirinyaga, please let me know so we can talk with I want to get some of those guacamoles, which are very expensive here, so I can list them in my farm. Then we can do a lot of trade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That's a very good.
We have all that.
Okay, so what measures are in place to ensure that the community leaders' voices and experiences are consistently reflected in OVC's decision-making process?
Yeah, that's a great question. Again, what I want to say is that we routinely have meetings, member meetings, where we every quarter or very semi-annual we have a meeting either before our conference or after our conference, where we pull our ideas together. We discuss through our co-chairs of our various sectors. We have a executive leadership board, and also an advisory board composed of people who are outside of OVC, because sometimes you need people who are outside of your organization to give you some advice. They can be able to review what you're doing. So we have those mechanisms that help us to review what we are doing and improve wherever we can. After every conference, we usually do our review of how we did well, where we need to improve. And that is what informs our next conference, right from the time that we had with you, George, in Washington, D.C. Since then, we have gone to Dallas. After Dallas, we sat down and said, where do we go next? We said, oh, we'll go to Boston. Actually, we were going to do it this year in Boston, but it was very, very expensive. So we ended up doing it in New York.
Boston is more expensive than New York?
The hotels in Boston are over the roof.
Wow.
We could not even afford them.
I wouldn't have known. But the Big Apple is more friendly towards visitors and people who are trying to organize themselves, I would think.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Nice.
The Big Apple, yes.
All right. If it's Monday Majuu. We'd like to welcome each and everybody one more time to Radio Majuu, where we go beyond the diaspora. And as the voice of diaspora, I have OVC here with me, and they're talking about the upcoming conference in New York. I hope everybody has gotten their tickets by now. If not, please get your tickets now. Be ready to attend and be ready to be informed, entertained, and also take part in the future of the diaspora here and abroad. Sustainability is a very much used word in every organization. So how does OVC plan to diversify revenue streams beyond donor contributions to maintain a long-term impact? Somebody?
Well, I would say that sustainability is at the heart of OVC, right?
Yes.
It's not just a funding model. We're not just to create like short-term funds and then we leave it there. We also try to build like a BOT model, right? This is what allows us to launch community-based projects. Like even the ones we mentioned, Halkina, avocado, and whatnot. Those are ways that we're ensuring that we're staying sustainable and scalable and also self-efficient, because those are the grassroots. I will not take all the credit for OVC, but I would like for OVC to take all the credit. But you know, when we partner and collaborate with those grassroots projects that in return end up being so scalable and then also so self-sufficient, it alleviates the burden of us always on having to fund or fundraise all the time. It also leaves us a lot of room to do social enterprising, right? And invest in regions that we weren't going to be able to meet without having all these grassroots BOT models.
One of the things that we've been exploring very, very recently is to see how we can initiate what we are calling a diaspora infrastructure bond. What we have discovered, George, is that if we can be able to pool the resources of the diaspora together, we can be able to do significant big projects that can be able to support very, very, very well. So we have completed a recent exploration on setting up an infrastructure bond for the diaspora alongside several initiatives that have been there. And what we have come up with is that we have created a special purpose vehicle that is going to be the center of bringing people will invest into this special purpose vehicle that has already identified opportunities on the ground, whether it is a big agriculture project somewhere in the coast area, or whether it is a road that can be constructed somewhere using the diaspora resources. So what we are doing is to look at infrastructure and see whether we can be able to invest in those activities back home that can be able to generate profits, so that instead of our country going out to seek loans to do various development projects, maybe these are projects that can be handled by people from the diaspora, as long as they are well structured and well managed and well conceived. So we have such a project right now. One is in the area of Kilifi County, where we are looking at Vipingo development and seeing whether we can be able to participate in their special economic zone, and also participate in what they are calling the Vipingo new city that is going to be built there. So OVC, together with its affiliates, Food Security Consortium, has put together this special purpose vehicle, and we'll be launching that infrastructure bond soon. So keep watching this space, George. We're going to be there.
And if I can just add one little thing, and I'll say what's super powerful is that OVC is not imposing, right? We're not imposing, we're co-creating with the local voices, right? We have the local voice at the center, then we co-create with them. We build, we listen, we collaborate, and then we empower. That's where the sustainability is coming from in the long term.
How does OVC plan to build and nurture strategic relationships with donors, diaspora non-profits, community-based organizations, business people, fintech, technology, like you mentioned, and all these other organizations that circles, like you mentioned, and to enhance its effectiveness?
Well, I think, through research and where necessary feasibility studies, we OVC will actually get deep understanding of the issues and the policies and community trends that affect the community, and what their objectives are. Because you've got to understand the issue before you go in to try and find out what the solution of it is. Now, if you have the knowledge, do you need a different and new approach? What is exactly needed? And in that case, then you leverage and align yourself with the interests that actually serve that purpose with different diaspora organizations and donors, that we could need, at that time arise. So that's how usually it's identified. And I think Dr. Shuri, if you want to build on that, but I think that's basically how we will get around that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Certainly, and just to add, George, we've come to discover that One Voice Consortium is an organization where everybody puts in their effort for the long run. Because there's that saying that says, you can walk fast alone, but you go far together. Huh? So we are an organization that welcomes any new idea, whether it is an idea that is going to really bring us together and also take us far. And in that, we are very, very careful to really partner, not just with the people who have the funds, but even people who don't have. Because even those who don't have, you have to listen to them. Because they are also a stakeholder. In fact, that is part of the reason why one of the areas in Kenya that we have identified as an area to really invest in is Kilifi, because Kilifi's county is one of the poorest counties in Kenya. But did you know it is one of the countries that has the highest potential to grow?
Yes.
because of its closeness to the blue economy, closeness to impact of tourism, impact of trade and all the ports around that area. So it has a lot of potential. And so we identify this county that is not very, very well endowed, but then it has a lot of potential, so that we can be able to invest into there and be able to impact the people back home. So again, we see ourselves like that. We see ourselves like that bee, the bee that is going out to get some honey, and it takes back to the hive. The hive is Kenya. We are the bees. We are the worker bees here.
The important part is, how do we use that diversity to ensure inclusivity among the partners and definitely amongst the leadership? How do we bring all these people together, and how do we make it an effective, a winning strategy, if I may say?
Well, I think it's very important to know that we use different leadership models that have worked elsewhere. You just take what's good, you make some adjustments, you employ what has worked best in other organizations, and where necessary, you step outside of that and innovate. Like we're doing right now, this understanding of the Kilifi, situation is something that can actually, lead to a different way of us actually processing everything. So now we need partners who can actually explain to us what's the best way to actually bring in that into the fold for the betterment of the whole community. So I think with discussions with different, what what you learn, and what you can actually garner, we use those steps all together in amalgamation.
Perfect. And there's also that port of Lamu that they're building up there just past Kilifi that is connecting the whole northern corridor, open up all that area. I mean, there's a lot of potential.
And the inclusivity, like you were saying, inclusivity right there. Yeah, that's what we're talking in, and you're seeing it in real life, in real time.
In real time, yeah. And also,
there you go.
And then also the fact that you include the people on the ground, the poor people, because at the end of the day, this is why you're doing it. You want to improve their livelihoods. You want to uplift them. You want to bring them up. So it is a very noble cause, and obviously I support OVC. And if you're here, it's Monday Majuu, and it's Radio Majuu. I'm your host, George Kichobi, and with my guests, Robert Shiori, Natasha Ruth, and June Nzilani. All right, I got one more question, maybe two, to wind up this very good session. And like I said, the OVC conference is coming to New York. Maybe you can give the dates, times, and what people need to do. But my last question will be to ask how individuals and organizations interested in supporting OVC's mission can become actively involved in its going, not only on the conference, but obviously in everything that we mentioned and in its ongoing initiatives.
As you can see, we're an umbrella of many organizations. I would encourage everybody to visit our website. That is the onevoiceconsortium.org. Learn about our mission, our initiatives, and find out what actually works for you. Listening to us right now, you know that we work with a lot of diaspora organizations. We work with nonprofits. We work with a lot of community-based organizations, stakeholders. I mean, the community leaders. We are far and wide. Any of those contacts will be able to be a good entry point. You just have to recognize what your point of interest is, how it lines up with us, and let's go ahead and make the community. You can always contribute on your level and at every level, at a small level and at a big level. So I encourage everybody to go and visit our website, get to know us, look at your initiative and see and plug in where you can using all those initiatives. And I want to say one more thing. please, this expo is a great opportunity also for you to get to know us. You're going to come across somebody that will spark an idea, will connect with your idea. So that information is also on the website. Like I told you, we have an early bird special. And that's, of course, the Expo 2025 is in early May, and New York. So it's very important for you to plug in. So I've given you at least 5 different ways to get in touch with us. And if you can, and if Dr. Shiri, June, if you have a different something to add on there.
No, I was just gonna say hit up Dr. Shiri, but since you really broke it down so brilliantly, I take back my answer.
He has all
well.
the
You did well there, Natasha.
So
that was
many
really
ways
good.
of doing it. Yeah. Thank you so much. I wanted to just gratitude to Radio Majuu, yourself, for this opportunity and for really your commitment to the community. We appreciate your time here and your audience.
Well, I will say thank you so much for having us here. I had a good time, and I'm sure everybody else did. And you had the privilege of meeting us first. You can now go tell people what to expect. I'm super stoked personally that it's in New York. I was talking to Natasha earlier, and I was like, oh, thank God for New York.
Yes.
Thank God for May 2nd and May 3rd. That's when the conference is happening. And also don't forget, we have that brilliant gala that we're putting together. So after you've learned all you came there to learn, after you've acquired all the resources and information, you've networked, you've eaten good, we're going to go dance it off.
I wanted to go over the theme so that you know how to plug yourself in. This year's theme is leveraging innovation, opportunities, and resources for strategic growth. So if you fall under any of that, we need to see you in May, early May. Details there. If you need to speak to somebody, we also have a phone number contact that is 614-822-0958. I'm going to repeat that, 614-822-0958. Your questions, concerns also can be, relayed through there. And once again, thank you so much to Radio Majuu, our host, Mr. George. We appreciate your time, the audience, for giving us a listening ear, and we hope to see you in May. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shiri, one more time for hosting this very good initiative, and hopefully we make the impact that is deserved. And June Zilani, thank you very much for coming through. Like I said, I'm your host, OG Master G, George Kichobi, and this is Radio Majuu. If it's Monday, it's Radio Majuu, the voice of the diaspora, where we go beyond the diaspora. So everybody is welcome for the OVC Expo in early May in New York. Get your tickets now, as Ruth said, ovc.org. Am I correct?
One Voice Africa, One Voice Consortium.org. Yes, spell the whole thing.
Spell the whole thing out. One Voice Consortium.org. Small caps. You get all the information there. Get your tickets, and we hope to see you all there. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and you have a very lovely weekend. Asante.
You as well.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, George.
Okay.
Thank you, Natasha. Thank you, June.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good evening.
Have a good one.